today I made about $8,951 from the market, and it took 5 trades, all beautiful trades. It's such a beautiful day. It's crazy. Let's break down the trades, why I took them, the psychology behind them, the reasoning behind them, the strategies, and let me give you the real source. All right, how was I thinking? What was I doing? And how did I know that this stock gonna move and this is not actually the best move? I'm gonna give you all right, let's do this. Let's go over it, and time to make some money. All right, and by the way, it's not just me who printed money. You see this? 9% of the account, 4% of the account, 14% of the account, 68, 212, 213. This is just Tesla, by the way. 72, 280, 74, 183, 155, 12% of the account, 7%. You get the point, man. We all print money in here. That's what we do for a living. Let's get it. Anyway, fam, let's go over the trades and why I took them and the reasoning behind them. All right. So the first trade that kind of came today was on Tesla. So let's go on Tesla. By the way, I'm gonna give you the source. When I'm trading, man, I'm watching the 2-minute chart for first 30 minutes of the market open. Then I'm watching 5-minute chart for next 1 hour of the market open. So basically that means 2-minute chart up until 10 o'clock Eastern time, 9:30 to 10. Then from 10 o'clock Eastern time to 11 o'clock, I'm watching 5-minute chart for my trading. All right. Let's look at the Tesla trade. I took this trade around 9:40. All right. Let me actually show you. Look at this. This is 9:40 right here. This shows in my time zone, but you got it 9:40, right? Tesla above 244.3 is on watch. This is Tesla. This is what I said. Tesla looks like this in the real time, right? So what was happening here? We saw right at the market open, it broke the pre-market high. Write this down. Any trade that is strong enough to break the pre-market high, it means there's some sauce behind the trade. There's some juice behind the trade, and we gotta be quick enough to catch the juice. You see what I'm saying? So it broke the pre-market high. At the same time, if you check SPY couldn't break the pre-market high. If you check QQQs couldn't break the pre-market high. You see what I'm saying? But Tesla did break the pre-market high. What does that tell me? That tells me it's relatively stronger than the market. All right, Tesla is relatively stronger than the market. Now, I clearly know that it's not following the market. So I'm not gonna be like, oh, let me check what SPY and QQQ is doing and trade Tesla. No, it's not following the market at all. So I'm just trading Tesla based on the price action, what Tesla is telling me, right? So around this, it started forming on a 2-minute chart. It started forming this clean, really clean trend line on the top, which tells me it looked like a flag, right? And the moment it broke out of this flag, the moment it broke out of this 244.3 level, I jumped in. I jumped in this trade and we caught this move. Literally, I'll be honest, man, I caught this move all the way up to 250, 240, 250, roughly around here. But I kept taking profits and I re-added to this position a little bit later as well. But this is the trade, this is the entry, this is why I entered, this is what the thesis was, this is the relative strength was, and this is the thesis. And I'll explain the second trade right now. All right, the second trade came about 10 past 10, okay, 10 past 10 Eastern time. Right now, after 10 o'clock, I'm watching 5-minute chart. So I was on a 5-minute chart now, and I saw this at 10:05, this little pullback that happened. And what's happening here? If you look at the bigger picture, I hope you know that the trend kind of always goes like this. It always makes a higher highs and higher lows. This is what the trend does, right? If you look at this, it made a high, then a pullback happened right here, another high, pullback, another high, pullback. The trend made higher highs and higher lows, and I was like, all right, this can make a next move, and I want to be in the trade for it to make the next move. You see what I'm saying? So this is around where when it pulled back to this critical level of 245 on a 60-minute chart. If you check the 60-minute chart, you'll see this 245 being a critical level. You see this? Such a critical zone last time when the prices went, they rejected, and now I know that this is a critical level. You see what I'm saying? So on a 5-minute chart, it came down and retested this. When I saw this such a bullish candle, whenever the candle looks like a needle candle, right, or a pin bar candle, this is a pin bar candle. Okay, pin bar candle simply is a needle with a pin on the top, right? I love these candles. Especially when it retested such a critical level. After it broke a critical level, it came down to retest that critical level. This is good. There's some money behind this trade and you can make some money from it. All right. And I entered the moment it broke this 246.5. All right. The moment it broke this 246.5, I think I sent a message here as well. All right. Looks like a re-entry on a call position coming soon, 246.5 area. All right. 246.5. The moment the previous candle high break, I jumped in, caught this move all the way. 248 was my critical level that I was telling everybody, 248. And when it pulled back, still in the trade, I was still in the trade from the morning. This is just like an add-on to the position. And I was still in the trade and I knew that another pullback will come. It will go. It went. Another pullback will come. Another pullback did come. right here to this critical level. Now 246.6 was a critical level as well. If you go on a 60-minute chart, check this out. 246.6 last time, twice, or actually 3 or 4 times when I went there, it was a critical level. I said this in the chat as well. Like, this is Tesla hourly chart, looks good. Like after that level, this is a huge level, 246.6, right? It was just a critical level. So I was watching it very, very closely. And what happened on a 5-minute chart was simply, it came down to retest that critical level. I was still in the trade. I never added anymore. I didn't. I never added after this. I was just watching. 250 being 250 was a critical level that I was watching. And this candle was once a green candle that you see right now, kind of a bearish candle. Once it was a green candle around 250, which is where I took some profits. This was one of the biggest trade, and it was responsible for like about 70% of the profits that I made today. All right, Tesla, beautiful trade. Now let's look at the second trade for the day. All right, the second trade of the day came on Microsoft. So Microsoft, I was watching Microsoft early in the morning around 9:40, 9:44, and what I was watching on Microsoft was, it was weak. As I said, relatively weakness. All right, first candle of a 2-minute chart, it broke below the pre-market low. Clearly, it's relatively weaker than the SPY and QQQs, because I showed you SPY and QQQs were not able to break pre-market high or low. Okay, relatively weaker. And now I missed this move, the whole move. No problem. I'm a sort of trader who likes to wait for a pullback, right? This pullback happened. I'm like, oh, okay. Then this happened. I'm like, all right. Then this happened. You see how little the pullback is? Now, what that tells me is it's forming a little trend line again on the bottom. You see this? It's again, the little flag thing is forming. And I'm a sort of trader who likes to keep things very, very simple. It formed this, and I was watching this right below 370.8. As you can see right here, I call this out below 370.8. This is what I was watching. The moment it broke below, we took, and this was like about 20% trade. And the main critical level was 370 that we were watching. It went to 370, it paid, beautiful. That was it. I still was holding about half my position, and when it literally reclaimed this, my critical level that I had on my charts, sold. But later on, clearly, I missed out on a move. But I'd rather miss out on a move than not respect my stop loss. All right, write this down. You rather miss out on a move than not respecting your stop loss. All right, this was a trade on Microsoft, beautiful trade again. Then the trade that we took was on AMD. Now, these are 3 trades, 2 trades on Tesla and Microsoft. Then comes AMD. So AMD was about 10 past 10, the trade that I took at the same time that I took Tesla. So AMD trade was pretty simple. I took this trade 10 past 10. All right, let's go on a 5-minute chart and show you the exact strategy. It broke out of this pre-market high. Clearly, that means it's definitely strong. See this? Such a strong move. Such a strong move. Comparatively, at the same time, if you see SPY, if you check SPY right here, SPY was not able to break out. QQQs was not able to break out. But why is this AMD breaking out? Because AMD is stronger than SPY and QQQs, right? But when it kind of made a little pullback right here, I saw the trend. I was like, remember what I showed you on the trend on how the trend goes in general? I knew that, okay, this is a move, pull back, move again, and it's pulling back a little bit higher than the previous one. See this? A little bit higher than the previous one. There's some money to be made here. That's what I was watching, and I knew there's money to be made. And the moment I saw this candle right here, and it pulled, like it literally started pushing from this point a little bit higher. I entered around this 1010. The moment this candle kind of broke like this little zone that there was a critical zone where prices were rejecting over and over again. How many times it got rejected right in the zone? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm like, okay, clearly this is a critical level, 141.25, and I think I even called it out right here. Look at this, AMD bar 141.25 for calls look nice here. Trend is pretty strong, and we entered the moment it broke out of the zone, and we made some money right here. But yeah, it was a quick trade. It was a very quick trade. We took some profits at the high of the day, and when we were approaching 142 on the level 2 and down the sales, it wasn't the best trade, but because we already took 50% off at the high of the day. Now I get it. You might be like, bro, but that was only 30-cent move. Yeah, not every single trade that you're gonna take is gonna be a big, huge trade like Tesla. Right? So you got to keep your emotions in check. You keep your expectations in check as well. So this was my expectations of this trade, that it goes to the high of the day. And when it broke out of the high of the day, I was like about 50% out, and the remainder of the position got out the moment it started failing. And it's all right. I was kind of break even on this trade. Then comes Meta. Meta took this Meta trade around 10:15. The reason of taking this trade was pretty simple. It was very weak comparatively to SPY and QQQs. It was super weak. But when we saw this pullback candle bounce from this 330 area, I'll show you the 60-minute chart. What was happening around this area. This 329.5 area was a critical level. This is where the price is, like, literally it started going down on this particular day. I'll show you the 5-minute chart of that day. You'll be like, all right, it makes sense. Price was going up, came down, retested, went up, played around this area. How many times got rejected? So I was like, all right, 329.5 is a critical level, especially because it bounced off this price point as well. And other day was kind of bouncing and rejecting of this area. But when the next candle formed around 331, which was my another critical level, I saw that it is kind of a range range bound trade. It's going to be a range bound trade. When I saw this candle reject around this critical level, I'm like, all right, it's going to be a range bound trade. It's going to simply go, and this is how you trade chop. It bounced from this area and it rejected from this. I personally think it's going to go down to this particular level. This was what I was thinking at that time. You get my point? And that's exactly what we did. We jumped in puts roughly around this point, and this is the meta trade that we took was below 330.7 at 10:15, below 330.7 at 10:15 right here. We jumped in and we took the trade to low of the day. We got out. The moment we got out, it started reversing. I mean, this was the trade that we took. We knew we were going to take profits, and we took some profits because it was a range bound trade, and I had in my mind that it's a range bound trade. Took some profits and we printed money, and everybody in the team printed money. So these were the 5 trades that I took, and I gave you the full source behind it, how I traded, what I traded, and let me know if you like this. Let me know in the comments if you enjoy these videos as well. All right, peace. Cheers, fam.